Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Dr. Sarah's Cafe. This is a special pick a card reading. I don't know what the theme is going to be yet, so I'm pulling from potential themes in this basket. Okay, so let's see what the theme of these pick a card readings is going to be. All right. We are going to do a pick a card reading on healing. Healing. Okay, so I will put up three images or three decks or three items on the screen. You think about what is the next phase of your healing journey? Keep that question in your mind. What is the next phase of your healing journey? What message does Spirit have for you now regarding your progress in your healing, aids and insights and wisdom to support your healing journey? And then just go with the deck or the item or the group reading that feels most resonant for you. Okay? I'll see you on the other side. Okay, if you chose group one, we're going to start with an oracle card, an African goddess rising oracle card, to see what your healing message is for this time ahead. Remember, these are timeless, and so they could speak to situations that play out for days, weeks, months, and sometimes even years in your life. Healing message for group one, please. I feel like going. We have Sekhmet, wounded healer. Sekhmet, wounded healer. This is very much Chiron energy. If you're familiar with astrology and the asteroid Chiron, it is having a wound that never heals within you, but it gives you the wisdom and the compassion to heal others in that way. Okay. The wounded healer suggests that you might be in a phase of your healing journey where you're ready to leverage the wisdom you've gained as a result of your healing process over the years, over your lifetime, that is going to benefit the people around you, that's going to benefit a community or a family or a relationship in some way. So with this group, if group one is resonating for you, it's about taking the lessons, taking the wisdom in your wounds, taking the insights and the knowledge you've gained along your journey to serve and spread support from that lived experience in a way that is going to benefit others outside of yourself. Okay, I'm going to do one initial layer, and then I have a clarifying deck as well. This is also giving High Priestess energy as I look at it. I think it's the pillars. And then it's almost moon-like. If you're familiar with the High Priestess card in tarot, I don't have it near me to show you. Maybe in post I can put an image on the screen. But the High Priestess has the three moon phases above her head, and it's a veil behind her, and she's between two pillars. And with Sekhmet and Wounded Healer, I'm also getting, am I losing it? Protection is coming through as well. Okay. Using the Crow Tarot deck for my initial draw. Okay. What else can you tell us about the healing journey for those who've been drawn to group one? This healing process with the wounded healer for those drawn to group one. I'll also say that the number one is a leadership card. Some of you might have the gift of spiritual leadership. That's something you can look more into. Oftentimes it's revealed in dreams, which I'll talk about in my dream series. We have the Queen of Swords and the Four of Pentacles that have fallen out. They didn't fall out together per se, one on top of the other, kind of. Immediately, the Queen of Swords is therapist, counselor kind of energy in a very practical, basic, mundane sense. The Queen of Swords is intellectually wise. She has wisdom. She understands the wisdom in the wound. So I would say So far, the tagline for group 1 is the wisdom in the wound that you can use to teach and help others overcome things in their life because you've been there. You had the personal experience, you've gathered knowledge from other teachers, and you've applied it and used it to cultivate strength and integrity within yourself. And now you're in a position to assist and aid others. The Four of Pentacles is about being grounded and practical. So for group 1, well, in this context, that's the primary intuitive impression I'm getting, is that it is about bringing the healing process and the ideas of healing to congeal in some kind of concrete, practical form, okay? And feeling grounded and solid. This is about like being grounded in your healing, okay? So there's something about this advice, this wisdom that you have that is super practical and grounded. It doesn't come off as airy-fairy. It doesn't come off as toxic positivity. And you might be a traditional like therapist or like a traditional doctor. I keep saying I'm going to turn these auto reactions off. But yeah, I think what I was saying is that for some of you, you could actually be like an educator, or you could be a parent, or there's something that feels very real world, 3D about this. Like maybe you work at a clinic, or you volunteer at a clinic, or maybe that's what you feel called to do. Or maybe you're applying this to business. Maybe your wounded healer journey is calling you to establish like a professional practice in some way. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be like a not professional thing, like something you just do in your spare time as you feel called to do for people that you're drawn to help. But again, you do so in a very, very practical way. And maybe for some of you, what you do is healing their wounds around like money and finances, right? Like you could be like helping them heal wounds around lack and scarcity. Okay, let's keep going. See what else comes out for group 1. Okay, I'm going to take just the card that flipped up, which is the Chariot. The Chariot. I love it. It is giving leadership here and success and willpower. So if you feel called, if this resonates with you and you feel called to start helping people with their struggles, whatever you feel qualified to do based on your own experience, again, because the wounded healer is someone who's helping people with a problem that they themselves have had to heal from or had to overcome, or that they understand firsthand what that wound feels like. And so they can approach it in a very practical way, in a way that's very, very empathetic and compassionate. But the Chariot suggests that there is a lot for you to do. It's like, and I don't want to like encourage people to take this on as a career, but there's something about you stepping into this role, stepping into this act of service or this contribution to a relationship or a community or a network, an organization, whatever form it takes for you. Maybe you belong to a church or a place of worship and you apply it in that way. Whatever, do what is aligned and resonant for you and what you're guided to do of your own intuition. But the Chariot is saying I pause because something else comes in, like I'm in the middle of a statement and then I get a different insight that like kind of takes over the original thing I was saying. So the original thing I was saying is that those efforts can gain a lot of momentum. Those efforts could really reach people beyond what you might have anticipated, beyond what you might have expected. And the Chariot card is very much a card of leadership, leading, and it almost becomes like a movement, like a mission, whether it's like a local movement within a school or a church or an institution or within your family. It becomes something that gains momentum and people might feel rallied around this thing. The other thing that came through was a lot of what you're teaching, a lot of what you might be inspiring people to overcome is the storm. That's what hit me when I had that pause. It was the storm. And in this deck, the bird flies above the storm, flies above the storm clouds. So it's like you could be talking about and teaching about very practical ways to help people through the storm, to help people overcome, survive, to, be victorious over the storms in their life, because you have gone through the same storm and maybe multiple times before. And so it's inspirational and motivational. But again, with the Four of Pentacles, it's also very grounded and practical as well. Now we do have the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck and the Ten of Swords as well. So that's the wounded healing right there. But the Two of Swords indicates that there's something beyond rational logic that is applied here. So your wisdom alone doesn't come from just pure reason and pure logic, even though it is the Queen of Swords. There's the Queen of Swords, you as the Queen of Swords is accessing wisdom that surpasses textbook knowledge. It's not just, I read a textbook and now I know. The Two of Swords implies that, yeah, I can wrap my knowing within frameworks of like human study and human science, but it is beyond that. It comes from a spiritual source. Okay, let's get clarifiers. Any additional clarifiers you have for people who were drawn to group one? And I'm also feeling called to tell you that if you don't currently feel like you're there, if you're currently like, yeah, that's not me at all, stay open to the fact that you might start to see this play out. Like you might start to feel this developing in you over time, like in the near future. Like this could be where you are at this very moment. It could be where you've recently been, but it could also be where you're headed, right? And so maybe you're fresh out of a storm yourself and you're like, oof, I don't feel like I could help anybody because I'm just recovering from my own storm. Stay open to the fact that once you've had time to recover and experience what it's like to be in this like fresh phase of healing, like it could randomly happen. Like someone sees a difference in you. They see a change in you and they say, hey, can you want to meet up for coffee? I just want to talk to you because I see that you seem happier. I see that you've got your finances in order. I see that you've created a life that you're happy. And I'm kind of struggling right now. I wonder if you would mind, if I, just buy you a coffee and talk to you. Queen of Coins, bottom of the deck. So some of you aren't aware, like when you were drawn to this reading, but as I'm saying these things, it doesn't ring a bell. And that could be because it's foreshadowing. It's a preview of where you might be headed. Okay. All right, let's clarify this Queen of Swords. Wow. That was quick and emphatic. The Three of Wands. So this speaks to the energy of expansion and growth that I was talking about with that chariot. Remember I said that this is something that could pick up speed and sort of take off in ways. This is the expansion of your wisdom, the expansion of your teaching, the expansion of your knowledge, and allowing it to spread beyond just you, not just keeping it to yourself. And maybe you're less tied to trying to control who it reaches, and maybe you just start putting it out there. Maybe you just open up and share your story on Facebook one day and trust that the person who needed to see your testimony is going to find it, and it's going to have ripple effects beyond what you might even be able to see. Let's clarify the Four of Pentacles for us. Yep, that's what I was thinking and feeling. 3 cards. The top card is the High Priestess. So remember when I was talking about the Two of Swords? A lot of readers don't talk about the Two of Swords in this way. But for a long time, I've saw the Two of Swords as a very intuitive card because the figure is always blindfolded. And what the Two of Swords means to me inherently is that I can't go based on the logical choice, right? I can't, what I see in front of me is not enough to know. It's like I have to look beyond, right? And so that's what the blindfold is to me. Like in my relationship to the Two of Swords, it's like being blindfolded means I have to access data and information that's not visible with the naked eye. Okay, it kind of forces you to go within because you can't see the data, you can't see the evidence in the 3D sense. And so you have to rely on a different knowing, right? Pulling information from elsewhere. Also the moon, the ocean in the background in the traditional Two of Swords. But one of the other tarot readers that I really like, and I took his tarot course a couple of years ago, actually, Radiant Reality, one of the things he taught us was the combination of the High Priestess and the Two of Swords as being psychic information. And so I had already felt that with this Two of Swords, and then now to see the High Priestess come out to clarify the Four of Pentacles, there is a lot of what your wounded healer wisdom and teaching is about is rooted in or supported by your psychic download, your psychic knowings, your psychic information. And psychic doesn't always mean like channeling per se. Psychic is just, I know this thing and I, for some reason, feel compelled to say the thing that I know. Now, underneath that, we have the Five of Blades and the World. Oh, I really like this. It's making me emotional. I'm really happy for you because the Five of Knives is the wound, but the World is the closing of the wound. The Five of Swords is the open wound. The World is the scar that represents the healing. And with the High Priestess, there's been a hesitancy to share. There's been a hesitancy to open up about your personal experience because it has been painful. But for you, you are currently or will in the near future get to a place in your healing journey where the scar tissue has healed enough that you feel enough courage, you feel just enough strength and safety within yourself to share a potentially painful secret, to share something about yourself, to share something about your life or your journey that was once a deep source of pain, and you feel called to, or you feel inspired to, or you feel like you're ready in this phase of your healing to open up and start to share. And let me tell you from personal experience, but also what came to me in the moment, is that you can do like your in secret, private, kept to yourself healing. But when you start to share with others, when you start to open up and tell that story to others, when you start, supporting other people in their healing journey, you actually step into like another level of your own healing, right? So it's like you get to a really good, solid place in your healing. And you're like, ooh, I'm finally feeling strong enough. I'm finally feeling grounded enough, ready enough to be able to share a little bit and to say what has happened to me, to say what wisdom I've gained from this. And you might actually surprise yourself that that process of opening up and sharing a once painful secret launches you into your next level, greater, deeper healing. Okay? I think I'm going to stop there because that feels really strong and really powerful. My dears, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in another video. Take care. All right, welcome group 2. If you were drawn to group 2, this is a message about your healing journey, either where you currently are in your healing journey, where you're headed next, additional insights, wisdom, messages that can support you in your healing journey at this time or in the near future. We're starting off with an oracle card from the African Goddess Rising deck. And the card you have is I Set and Surrender. I Set and Surrender, number 44. So I think surrender to your healing process. Surrender to your healing process. Surrender seems pretty straightforward, right? It's like, oh, okay, I have to surrender. But I think the importance of surrendering in the healing process is often understated and overlooked. One of the things that we have to surrender, a couple of things, surrendering to your healing process, right? So not fighting the messages, the wisdom as they come through, but also surrendering the thing that you're holding on to. That includes surrendering the old story, surrendering the old narrative, surrendering your attachment to being the victim, surrendering your attachment to being in pain. And it can sound counterintuitive, but in my very early days of, working on my mental health, just starting out therapy in the early days, I remember reading a text that said we can become addicted to feeling bad. We can become addicted to feeling bad. And if you've ever known people, when you try to offer them a solution, they have an excuse, right? There's a saying, a quote says, some people have an excuse for every solution, right? Or a problem for every solution. And it really shifted something in me to realize, like, am I attached to my not okayness? Am I attached to that in some way? Can I surrender this identity that felt innate of suffering and struggling? It felt like it just was. And then that text caused me to question, like, but can I let that go? Am I clinging to that narrative or that story because it feels familiar? Because it feels like strength? It feels like the only version of strength I've known. Yeah, and then surrender expectations about what the healing journey looks like. Surrender expectations of what the healing journey is going to feel like. Surrender timeline expectations. Okay, so somebody has expectations on how long this healing journey is supposed to take. Surrendering any notion of I should be healed by now. Y'all know. Surrendering any notion of why am I still dealing with this? And maybe we're still dealing with things because part of us liked the good old days in some way. Let's go ahead and start getting some tarot cards. I'll start with the Antique Anatomy. Yeah, I'll start with the Antique Anatomy, then I'll clarify with the Crow. Group 2, what more can you tell us with I Set and Surrender? Okay. What can you tell us about this surrendering energy for... How did that card get over there? Okay. I'm glad I heard it. It is the Magician. I love the Magician card. It is about your power. It is about your power, your agency, your manifesting self. You as a manifesting being, as an empowered soul, as an empowered force that can create with divine will, divine assistance. This is about being gifted, being really good at what you do. And I love this imagery with the figure 8. And you see how it's the Antique Anatomy. And so this is the only card with flesh on it. All the other cards are bone. Every other card in this deck is bone. It's a skeleton, like you see here with the spine. But this card is coming into life, coming into being, coming into flesh. And there is a sense of surrender in that. Surrender to the growth, surrender to the next chapter, the next page. Surrender to your own power. And that's where so much of your power rests, is in the surrender to your flow. And oof, this one came through really strongly. Some of you resist becoming the new and next version of yourself because you're attached to a story that tells you you're supposed to be struggling. You're supposed to be in pain. You're supposed to, like, what do you mean you're getting better? What do you mean you're starting to feel happier? What do you mean we're turning up the thermostat? What do you mean you're starting to experience love every day? What do you mean you're starting to experience daily bouts of joy and bliss? Like, what? I'm not making light of this at all. I empathize. I do. But a new version of you is coming into form, is what I'm saying. And you might be trying to resist that. So when I said let go of your time expectations for healing, that also means the reverse of letting go of the expectation that it should take a long time. Letting go of the expectation that healing has to be a lifelong process, that I'll always be unhealed, that I'll always be wounded. This depiction is coming into wholeness. It's coming into complete form. And you might be like, whoa, wait. I can't live a life free of suffering. And really, that's a whole other paradigm, right? We could talk about pain versus suffering. I've listened to a lot of conversations that delve into that nuance. But what I just feel like coming through really, really strongly, and this is the resistance here with the 7 of Rods. This is the opposite of surrender. This is like, nope, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep doing this healing work because I'm supposed to always be doing it, aren't I? No. That's the secret. That a lot of people, my other work that I do away from this channel is about healing. And I myself was preaching, oh, you'll be healing forever. You'll be healing for the rest of your life. It's a lifelong journey of healing. And I no longer think that has to be true. I think it could be true. It can be true. Maybe for some people, for several people, it is. But I no longer accept the fact that it has to be true for everyone and for every situation. I do think if we surrender to it, we can get to a place in our lives where we're free, where we're like, I'm good. I'm better. And not that the thing will never bother you again, but it certainly won't ever make you suffer again. Let's keep going. I'm saying a lot with not a lot of cards. So I want to see what more comes through. Okay. 3 cards have fallen. We have the Empress at the bottom of the deck. The Empress, honey, knows all about surrender and flow and being receptive, okay? We have the Queen of Blades making another appearance. This also came out in group 1 from the Crow deck. The Queen of Swords and the other tarot deck came out. This is your wisdom. This could also be a counselor, a teacher, a mentor, a very wise person, sometimes an older person, but if they're not older in age, they're older in wisdom, right? And the way they speak and share insights, they're very mature and very centered in their knowing and in their sense of self and in their wisdom. This could be you, or it could be someone that is supportive of your healing journey. We have judgments. I love judgments because it's both the past and the future at once. Judgment says it's transfiguration. Judgment is transfiguration. Judgment is transfiguration. It's like, oh, we're going to take that old self, we're going to take that old paradigm, we're going to take that past, we're going to compost it, and we're going to use it to be the stuff, the substance that recreates the butterfly, right? It's very much butterfly energy. It's like we're going to take that caterpillar, we're going to turn it into goop, put it into a cocoon, and it's going to come out with wings. It's very phoenix from the ashes energy. And again, what I've been saying this whole video is that some of y'all are resisting that process. Some of y'all want to hang on to the past. And judgment's like, it's time. It's time to wake up. Time to launch into the new era, the new evolution. I feel very, very strongly it's spirit, my guides, your guides, they're like, let these people know that they can let themselves heal and move on. I don't know why I keep being nudged to emphasize that if there were a physical, literal hospital for your emotional, spiritual healing, this is someone trying to overstay their welcome. The doctors are discharging you. Your spiritual team wants to discharge you from this rehab facility, from this hospital. And they want to say, you're ready. You're ready for the next. You're ready for the new. Okay? And then the other card that came out is the Lovers. So you basically have all major arcana. The only non-major arcana is the Queen of Swords, which is like peak court card, right? I don't know what to tell you. For some of you, this is surrendering to love. So in a very mundane, practical sense, if this is healing around a relationship, somebody might be healing from relationship wounding specifically. This is about surrendering to allowing the flow of new love, allowing yourself, right? It's like you had this relationship trauma and you're starting to feel better. You're starting to get excited about the company of other people, of certain other people now. And you're like, no, I can't. I'm not ready. But you are, more than you know, okay? And if not today, then you're getting there. The Lovers is a divinely aligned choice. A divinely aligned choice. With the Magician, the Judgment, the Lovers. I can't emphasize enough to whoever's chosen this group. It's okay to feel good. It's okay to surrender to the love, the joy, the peace. Dare I say, somebody clicked on this video and they're already healed, but they don't believe it. They can't let themselves detach from the narrative, from that identity of the wounded, broken person who needs help, who's down and out, to open their eyes and realize like, I'm in my new life. The thing that I was healing towards and healing for, I was healing so that I could experience greater love, peace, and joy. And now that the greater love, peace, and joy is here, it's like, I'm like, no, it can't be real. No, I can't. No. I'm not even going to clarify because I feel like I've driven home the point enough. Surrender. This is so beautiful. In a message about healing, to get the Magician, first card out of the bat, to get the Queen of Blades, which is the older, mature person, regardless of gender, who's seen a thing or two, but has cultivated depths of wisdom that surpass rational understanding. The Judgment card is about phoenix from the ashes, the reincarnation energy, the caterpillar, cocoon, butterfly cycle. It's the Judgment, right? And it is also like, I hear the call from my higher self. I hear the call from my creator to step into a fresh, brand new slate. And somebody's like, oh, but the past. And then the Lovers, the choice is yours. And I'm treading lightly here, but so the Oracle card to surrender, you have to choose to acknowledge and recognize that you're ready to move on. You're ready to move forward now, okay? Making the divinely aligned choice. There's so much beauty ahead of you. The Empress, bottom of the deck. Guess what was under the Empress? The Ace of Rods. Massive new growth, beauty, so much beauty and newness, freshness, a new start. A new start is all over this reading. And you are there. You are at the precipice. You are at the threshold. And you have to make the choice to say, let me go enjoy it. Let me go enjoy this new chapter of my life. I did the healing work. And now the last step is to surrender to the beauty that's before me. Okay, my dears, my loves, group 2, you got it. You got it, honey. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in another video. Much love. All right, group 3, if you were drawn to click on group 3, the message for group 3, we're going to start with an oracle card from the African Goddess Rising deck, and we have Divine Lineage, number 6. Divine Lineage. Now, honey, I like this. It's pretty powerful. This is about remembering who you are, where you come from, remembering that you are divine. You know, we don't have spirits, we are spirits who happen to have bodies at this particular moment in time, okay? Divine Lineage. I feel like for you, this is coming through as a reminder, as a message of love. The message of support for you is less so about the phase of healing that you're in. I feel like groups 1 and 2 were about a particular phase of healing. This feels more like a message that is going to help you and support you in whatever phase that you're in. For some of you, you could be like really in the midst of it. And I'm looking at the waves here. You might be in a phase or a period of healing where there are a lot of ups and downs, a lot of waves, a lot of ups and downs, being hit with one wave. And sometimes it feels like you're being hit with a tsunami. Sometimes it feels like you're being hit with wave after wave after wave. Sometimes the waters feel overwhelming. The emotional content of it all can feel overwhelming. And so for group 3, this feels more like a loving message to remind you that you're always supported in the midst of that. As challenging and as hard as it can be, you're never alone in your healing journey. Even if you don't have other human companionship in the present moment, you're still never alone. And I know that doesn't always make it feel better, but you absolutely have guardian angels, have your higher self, the creator, the all, the universe, supporting you through this. And I'm also really being drawn to the crown. I would say for some of you, your crown chakra, okay, may be activated in a way. So I would say trust the downloads that you receive at this particular moment in time, because that could be direct support from your spiritual team, right? And so you might brush it off. You might brush it aside, think, oh, that's silly. That was a random idea, but it likely is not so random. Okay. And I'm being sucked into the actual crown on this card. I'm being sucked into it. See it there? So remaining centered and reminding yourself in the midst of the ups and downs that you are divine and that you come from a royal lineage in the spiritual sense. It's also about how you carry yourself, your comport. Some of you, your healing process, your healing journey involves upgrades in how you carry yourself, like within. And it's giving straighten your crown, sis. Straighten your crown, right? Yeah, that feels good. I want to do an antique anatomy. Yeah. Antique anatomy. Let's see what else comes through. For divine lineage. If you know what song that is, let me know in the comments. The one that I'm humming. That's often how I get clairaudient information. Clairaudient information is through songs. And I find myself suddenly humming a song out of nowhere that I haven't heard in years. And that's usually a download. But it can take me a while to get to the lyrics of the song. So I have the let's see if I can get to the lyrics of the song. I just have Oh, it's gonna bother me that I don't have the lyrics yet. Okay. All right, what more wants to come through for group 3 related to this divine lineage? Ooh. Ooh. Honey child, we got the Ace of Elixirs, the Ace of Cups, bottom of the deck. You know why I'm so excited about this? Because, honey, this is emotional renewal. This is like being bathed, showered in divine love. You hear me? And somebody in group 3 needs to feel that right now. I get the sense that in group 3 is like, you could really use a bath, a spiritual bath, a showering bath, massages, swimming in the ocean, swimming in some salt water, Epsom salt bath, like bathing in divine love, allowing yourself to be showered and washed clean with actual water, but also like showered with love. The cards that come out, we have the 6 of Cups and the 8 of Knives. 6 of Elixirs and the 8 of Knives. This is feeling trapped by your past. Someone feels limited by a childhood narrative. Someone feels held back by a childhood wound. The Ace and the 5 represent the 5 of Cups. So that's the loss and the grief. Maybe you're healing from a childhood loss. And you really need some comfort. And not just a childhood loss, but the loss of something connected to your childhood. Or maybe you didn't lose the thing, but the existence of that thing makes you feel stuck, makes you feel trapped. Like you can't. This is like my therapist asked me one time when I was explaining to her a struggle I was having. And she asked me, well, when you think about that, when you talk about that, how old do you feel? And interestingly enough, we have the Eight of Swords, and I said I feel about 8. I feel about 8. And this is what this is reminding me of. This is feeling like your past is a liability rather than a foundation that you can build on, grow into. And this could be a situation that has plagued you since childhood, maybe since the age of 6 or 8. All right, let's keep going. And for some of you, you are struggling with children, with your child. Okay, so maybe it's not your childhood. Maybe it's someone else's childhood. Okay. There could be, for some of you, wounding around having children or raising children. Okay, let's continue. Okay, we have the Knight of Wands. What's that? Knight of Rods and the Hermit. So I'll say both of the impressions I've gotten from these two cards so far. One is that there's an impulse that is being tempered with wisdom and solitude. Okay, the Hermit is the wise one, the one who spends time in contemplation and study and thought, and who reflects back on their lives to mine for understanding and wisdom. The Hermit could be an actual mentor or teacher, and this would be present day. So how this would be playing out now or in the present is that there is a desire, a wish, or even a lust for life or for something to go forward with, and it's being supported. For some of you, though, it's like you are mentoring a teenager. The Knights in the tarot decks could be late teens to early 20s. Okay, so this could be a younger fire sign person that you are mentoring or that you are teaching. But the other impression that I got is that this was your past. That in the past, you had a teacher or a mentor when you were in your early teens, early 20s. And what really came through before that, though, was that there could have been something that happened in your young adult life, late teens to early 20s. One that you now gain a lot of wisdom from, but also you could have experienced a period of isolation. It's taken me a long time to get to that point. For some people, this will resonate differently for everyone. So in addition to what I've already said about these two cards, there could be one of you where this speaks to feeling alone and feeling isolated, and maybe actually being isolated when you were a youth, when you were a young adult. Or feeling like you had to be more mature for your age, maybe because of the situations in your family or your home environment or just your life in general. You might have felt like you had to grow up earlier than your friends, grow up faster than your friends. Or maybe you, again, with this Hermit energy, you might not have had friends during that period of your life. So those are a few different scenarios just from these two cards. I'm going to come back and clarify because of that, because there are a few different ways that the energy is coming off the cards to me. Where present day, this is mentoring a younger person, or a younger person being mentored by someone who's wise, who is a teacher or a mentor. Of course, being mentored by a mentor. It's repetitive. But also this, because the Six of Cups comes through so strongly as one of the first cards, this could be a reflection of a past that you're healing from, where you experience a lot of isolation. Okay, let's get another pull, and then I'll start to clarify for group 3. What more can you tell us about this energy for group 3? Okay. All right. So we have a lot of masculine energy on the board. We have the Emperor with the King of Rods and the Hanged Man. So the Emperor with the King of Rods could be an Aries masculine person, an Aries man, or an Aries masculine person, an Aries leader, someone who is very much in that masculine father figure. This is definitely giving father figure energy. And the Hanged Man could imply, one, sacrifices of this person or sacrifices by this person. But it could also represent that this person might have been unavailable, that there was some withdrawal. There was some withdrawal, some distance, almost like someone was waiting on this person, or they were waiting on something. There was like delayed connection, or like the maturity was delayed. This is also, though, like, this could be your progression. Yeah, I'm seeing this now as your progression into coming from the young Knight of Rods and growing into the King of Rods, healing your masculine energy. So for group 3, a lot of this is about healing your masculine energy, healing your father wound, because the Hanged Man can also be a moment of enlightenment, a moment of seeing your past differently, seeing yourself differently, and understanding and recognizing how to move forward. Okay, so I get the feeling that for the people who are really resonating with group 3, your healing journey feels very, or this particular phase that I'm describing feels like it has involved and been about a lot of internal reflection, a lot of solitude, or a lot of cultivating of wisdom. Even if you had support by way of a mentor or a teacher or older person, there's something that feels very insular and very quiet and very internal. And of course, healing is that, but I think it's just such a stark contrast from the other 2 groups that I've just read for. And also for group 3, there is something about your healing journey, the next phase of your healing journey, or the recent phase of your healing journey, that has been about cultivating a healthy masculine energy within yourself, regardless of your gender. All genders, all humans have to have a healthy balance mix of masculine and feminine energies. And you can use other terms for that. If masculine and energy don't resonate, then you can say yin and yang. You can say outward and inward. You can say assertive and receptive, like whatever synthesis of energies speaks to you, right? Because I know masculine and feminine is so warped with like gender associations and gender bias, but we all have that balance of that yin and yang, right? Or we have to cultivate a healthy balance of that. And so this healing process or this phase again of the healing process has been about nurturing and healing a masculine principle within yourself, like a assertive yang energy in your life, within your physical expression and within your choices even. Okay, I want to clarify. I want to clarify the Six of Cups and the Eight of Swords, because there's something about childhood for sure with this group. In the past, when you were younger, possibly a young child, maybe a teen. What else can you tell us about the Six of Cups and this Eight of Swords, Eight of Knives? Six of Elixirs and Eight of Knives. The Nine of Pentacles. Ooh, and the Lovers. The Lovers. So the first impression I get is that solitude again, that sense of solitude again, that sense of aloneness, that sense of singleness, that sense of being on your own, being by yourself. The Nine of Pentacles has a very positive association with it, because it is about being able to stand on your own. Okay, so one way this could go is that as a child, you didn't believe you could take care of yourself. You something about your childhood situation didn't allow you to develop like self-confidence and self-belief that you can prosper, that you can stand on your own, that you can take charge of your life. For others of you, though, I feel like the pendulum went too far in the opposite direction, where you learned hyper independence. You learn hyper independence, meaning like even if help is available, you feel like you can't take it because of what it's going to say about you. Okay. So both of those are an imbalance, right? Both of those are out of balance if you take it to the extreme. And that comes from, again, past conditioning. Past conditioning, and it with that Eight of Swords, it absolutely has held you back from something else in your life that you deserve and maybe want to experience. With the Lovers, it could be relationships. Could be that. Okay, what more can you tell us about the Knight of Rods and the Hermit? The Knight of Rods and the Hermit. The Five of Wands, King of Cups. So this is masculine energy that is emotionally mature and emotionally available. So this could have been lacking in your past. This could have been lacking in your childhood. Maybe you did not have consistent time or exposure to emotionally available men and masculine energies, regardless of gender. Get the Five of Wands to clarify the Knight of Rods and the Hermit. This is going to be a longer reading. So this speaks to what I was saying with the desire for something, the sort of like cabin fever, like itching and scratching to like run and do things, and having that sort of like teenage young adult zest for life, but somehow it's being, I don't want to say restrained, but being mitigated, being dampened even by this maturity, this sense of maturity. It could be an external mature person that is imposing, like telling you, don't do that, don't go there, you're going to get hurt, you're in danger. But also this could be your own struggle for maturity. And it's almost, I keep going back to someone who just wanted to be a teenager, but had to resist their teenage urges because for some reason they were called to be more mature in that moment, in that phase of life. They were called to be more responsible. They were called to be the adult, even though they just wanted to be 16. So you'll know, again, you will always know if and when things resonate. My responsibility is to just share what I get, right? Okay. With this Emperor, I want to look at the Hanged Man. That's the specific card in this combination that I want to clarify. Why is the Hanged Man here? Okay, let's get this. Bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Swords. That's the heartache. That's the original heartbreak. But the card that came out, the card that came out is the Star, which is the card of healing. It is absolutely a card of healing. It is absolutely a card of hope. It is absolutely a card of faith and belief. It is also representative of a time period of about 17 to 21 years. Isn't that interesting? And I'm telling you it's interesting because when I see the Knight of Rods, I very rarely read it as a teenager. I very rarely read it as a young adult person. But in this reading, I was called to do that. And being shown this phase of 17 to 21 years, this could have been 17 to 21 years from the wounding, from the heartbreak, where you were stifled, you were stuck, you were in your healing process, you were waiting. You were waiting. You've been waiting for a change. You've been waiting for things to turn around. You've been holding on, making sacrifices for yourself, for your healing. And this very well could represent the outcome, the version of you that steps forward confidently, the version of you that steps forward in your power, the version of you that now knows and understands how to stand in your personal power, in your personal authority. Divine lineage. That's the crown. That's the crown. You didn't know in the past that you were a king or queen or royalty, that you were a divine authority, that you are divine power. But now you know, and now you proudly and confidently, or you will soon, could be where you're working towards in your healing journey, wear that crown and say yes. Yes. You see how even, I don't know why this is coming through. We know why it's coming through, but you know what I'm saying. The younger version is slightly tilted and shrouded kind of in the foliage there and the flowers, compared to the king, upright, flowers in full bloom and not obscuring his face. He's looking straight on. He's looking straight at the camera. He's looking straight ahead. Whereas the younger version didn't have that confidence, didn't have that sense of self, didn't have that sense of presence, right? Compared to this image that's firm, solid, standing straight and tall and looking head on. Things are looking bright. The healing is here. My loves, please like and subscribe if you found this message valuable. I hope to see you in another video. Take care. Much love.